Alright everybody, this is Eternal Blade here and welcome back to section 3. Today we are going to cover the sort of pan holder thing on the top. I'm talking about this thing with the pans on it. So we're going to make that. Shouldn't take too long. So what we're going to want to do is first make sure you watch how to create the wood bin tutorial. And once we have that, go to your element section and just copy one of these elements and copy to an object. Okay? Now take that and isolate your selection. Sorry, unfreeze all and isolate selection. Go to your perspective and push Z, and we're going to turn safe frames off. So in your front view here, what we're going to try to do is just straighten up all of our edges here. Okay, because currently they're sort of scattered everywhere. But here we go. Now we have a perfectly straight board to use. Okay. So you can end isolation and push Z. Let's press Alt W to go into our 4-view mode here. We got our plates and things in the way. And camera, find your floating board here. Now it looks like we missed a few things, so let's actually go perspective Z and find all the back vertices here. Okay, press R and scale them in. Okay, and select the other ones and scale those in. We're just trying to make sure that everything is about as flat as it can get. Okay, there we go. Now we have our board. Make sure it still looks good, and it does. So bring our board and affect pivot only, centered object. We're going to sort of bring it over closer to where it needs to be. Now we can show safe frames in here again. And we'll just use this perspective window over here to do what we need. Okay. So we're just going to kind of position these boards to where they need to go. Okay, so I put them into place, and you can raise them just a bit because we're going to have sort of a metal covering, I guess, go on there. Now we're going to need about 4 boards placed here, so 1, 2, 3 copies. So you can see they're just a bit small, so we're going to scale them up ever so slightly. Okay, and position them strategically. We scale them down just a bit. Okay, there we go, perfect. And we're going to actually rotate them using angle snapper and rotate one 180. Then we're going to rotate this one 180 this way. Rotate this one 180 degrees and 180 degrees. So we have 2 different things. That way we'll get 4 separate sides. Alright, take these, press W, and we'll sort of shift drag them over to here. Okay. And control click on these, press E, and shift drag 90 degrees. Alright, now we're sort of getting the other sides. Now you can see these aren't quite the same length, so we're just going to scale them in to sort of match. Alright, that'll work. And we should actually select both sides so we can do them all at once. There we go. And move this side into position. Alright, perfect. So now you can see we've got kind of our wooden layout. And then select one side of these, E, and just rotate it sort of 90 degrees so we get a flat surface. Copy. Press W, and we'll just drag this down to about here. So right to the edge there. Okay. Alright, and then we can simply push it back. Try to line up the corners here. And we'll actually sort of center it here and we'll scale it to size. And it's alright if the textures are a little bit stretched. It's not going to be extremely visible here. We're just trying to reuse some of the textures we'd already created. Alright, so now let's take this box and we're going to try something. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but we can try. And so don't really worry about this top being there. Again, it's out of the view of our camera. Again, so is the back for that matter, but we could always stretch it later or just add an additional layer of boards. We may end up doing that. So, convert your box to an editable poly. Select, yes, all of these faces here. And we're going to want to inset them. Oops, sorry, we want to inset by polygon. There we go. And just try to match up sort of to about the same distance we have here. So that looks pretty good. Okay. Press 1 and so just raise everything to the appropriate level. Okay. Looks good enough. And now what we're going to do real quick here is just turn off adaptive degradation, just hide unselected. Oops, what happened here? I want to be selecting multiple things at once, like that. Why is this doing it to me? There we go, come on. No, crap. There we go, problem solved. And look at these bottom ones, deselect that. Hide unselected. Perspective, and there we go. Now we can see everything that we want to see. So go back to your polygons here, and we're just going to see what happens if we hit bridge. I don't think this is going to work very well. No. Okay. So what we want to do, so we forgot this polygon here. Inset this one. Now we're just going to extrude these sort of backwards so we can see our wood sort of push through. So extrude and to the same amount. There we go. Now we've got that kind of look where this is sort of a metal, container almost for our wood. And we're going to go into the front view here. Actually, a few different views. And we're just going to try to line up the wood with the insets we just made. So just try to line it up as close as you can. Alright. And again, if you're not perfect, that's fine. The more organic this is, the better. And that's why I tend to do things by hand instead of just sort of using some type of snap tool or something like that. Just because I feel it gives it that little extra bit of realism that you can sort of play around with. Alright, there we go. That looks very, very good. Okay. And now, just as a test, we had applied a sort of gray material to one of our pieces already, and I'm just going to try to apply that to this piece real quick. Probably won't work, but something cool might happen. And again, just trying to reuse things, so let's unhide all. And there we go, we have a cool little textured area, so I'm going to render it out here real quick. Alright, and there it is, and it actually came out really good. That's nearly exactly what I was hoping for. You get the same wood texture that we had in the other lessons, and you have your metal out, your metal background. You kind of got this little black piece, just like you have sort of in here, this little black thing right here. Showing a little different orientation, but that is pretty much exactly what I wanted. So that'll conclude this part, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.